and because we're still doing some deep diving at night. Hey friends, welcome to the Gardener's Workshop live shopping show. And look, I have a gift. And you'll have to stick around to hear what's in this gift, and it's available to you to send to your sweetie. It'll come ready to roll. Isn't that just, I just love simple prettiness, and that's what this is. So, totally love that we have this special opportunity for you guys. So today's show is all about seed starting tips and troubleshooting, about those common things that we just hear about over and over all the time, and we understand, right? A little update on the farm and what we're planting now and kind of what's going on. I'll be doing a soil blocking demonstration with our 3/4 inch small blocker, and I'm going to be sowing Scabiosa, better known as pincushion flowers, which are kind of troublesome for some of us. And as always, friends, we're going to do a free prize drawing. And as normal, I'll have a little Q&A at the end of the show to wrap it up. And if you have a question you'd like to ask, in the comments, just put @Lisa and your question, and the team will gather those up and pick a couple for me to actually answer at the end of the show. Now, before we get started, please, first off, thank you so much for already doing this at every show. And that is to hit the share button down below. And we know y'all are doing it. We have so many new viewers every week, new viewers and new customers. And it just stuns us, y'all. And I know it's all because of you guys. And I thank you so very, very much. Now, I want to just let you guys know about the Flower Farmer Club, which you may be familiar. That is my online private community. And we're closing the doors to new members as of January 31st. That's like a week from today. And I'm doing that so that I can just really get in there and focus on new content for the members and just to really submerge myself over there. So if you want to learn more about the club, head over to thegardenersworkshop.com. And Kelly, is there a banner now? Okay, so there will be a banner at the top of the webpage at some point, but right now you can just go to the Join Lisa's Club. It's at the top, and to learn more, and I will be live tonight at 6 p.m. on Facebook and Instagram, and starting at 6 on Facebook and then 6:30 on Instagram, and talking more about it and kind of sharing the details and my just deep passion of just becoming more connected with you guys. And so totally love that. Now, before we jump into the show, a little bit of housekeeping. So if you would be sure to go and check your account here inside the app and be certain that there's no typos on your email address and your phone number. We run into it every week. We can't ship to you without having those because the shipper verifies those. And if it doesn't work, they can't ship, right? And just a reminder that seed packet only orders here inside the app ship for free, right? And then, but we also have a cap on product shipping. That is just our standard shipping. It's capped at $9.95. That means it doesn't matter how many items you purchase, it still stays at $9.95. And friends, we ship to all 50 of the United States. Now, if you're watching me on the app, I am so glad you're here. I want to ask you, if you have a moment after the show, to go over to your phone's app store and drop a review on what you think about the app to let other people know it's okay to actually download it and use it. And when you get the app, if you're watching us on social media, you need to know that we have this free phone app. And in the app, you have all these additional features, right? Like, you can build a favorites list. You can watch replays from previous shows. You can participate in the lively conversation that's going on right now in the app amongst the viewers, right? As well as, and to me, the most important part is you can participate in the giveaway when you're inside the app. So if you go to your phone's app store, it's free. Search Gardener's Workshop and download the Shop app, and then pop right back in. It won't take but a few seconds, and we love it when you do that. And so just a couple other little housekeeping things. If you go to put a product in your cart and it says out of stock, you might want to get on that notification list, because frequently we may have more stock over on our big website that's being brought over. And that way you'll just get a little notification. You're not committing to anything. So I would say to do that. Now, if you're seeing folks post the sunflower emoji like you see here on my logo, those are people identifying themselves as part of our community, whether they're an online course student or they're a member of the Flower Farmer Club, which is my growing membership of those that are aspiring or are already flower farming. And I totally love that. Makes my heart swell when we actually have that. Now, we always start the show off with what the giveaway is. And y'all have proven that just giving you $25 to spend in the way that you want to spend it is the favorite giveaway, and today's no different. So hit that button at the top of your screen. I believe it says giveaway. That'll put you on the list that we actually pull from at the end of the show, which is usually right before 1 o'clock. But you have to be here to actually claim your gift. Now, we start every show off with featuring my books, and this is the Cut Flower Handbook, y'all, that we are just so proud of this book. First off, it is so incredibly beautiful. It's hardback. It has 240 pages. It has 225 images, a third of which my sister Suzanne took. Jessie, who is our admin here on the show, producer, she is the contributing author with me on this. This book is packed with everything you need to know to start and to have a thriving cutting garden and all the steps to do that, plus 66 flowers, 41 of which are the actual cool flowers. And when you purchase the book from us, you also have access to this download. This is the flowers that didn't make the book, y'all. There's only so much room in a book, right? So these are additional flowers that follow the same format that you see in the book. It has all the same info, and you get access to that through the bookmark that comes in your actual book. And so I'd love to sign one of those for you, and you'll see that we have a really special way for you to purchase that later in the show. So the next book that I find myself talking about this book more and more, because this is the book that really is about my gardening philosophy. And so many people have questions right now about getting their garden started and what do they do about pests. This book is not about vegetables, y'all, about growing vegetables. It's about how vegetables benefit from growing in the presence of flowers. And you do that by dropping a little cutting garden in the vegetable patch. And this leads you how to put a little patch of flowers in your veggie patch. And it has great illustrations in the back to help you grasp succession planting. But in the very last section of the book, it's about my gardening philosophy, just about how building the soil just really changes everything and restoring the natural order of your garden. Would love to sign one of these books to you. And this book actually comes with a free video book study. I think, and I want to watch that again. I can remember that I interviewed the photographer that took, Bob, that took the pictures for this book. I think Suzanne and I have a session in there, but it's like the behind the scenes of the book, right? Would love to sign one of those for you. And then of course, we have the book that started it all, y'all. And Cool Flowers sells more today than it did when it first came out 10 years ago. Yes, it is 10 years old and counting. So this is a book that really explains the Cool Season Hardy annual concept of how we figure out when we're supposed to plant them. It was really a rekindling of an art that was done decades and decades ago that we just kind of forgot about. The Cool Flower book also comes with a bonus video book study, and I would love to sign one of these for you. And this is, really for the home gardener, but a flower farmer can definitely apply. This is like the first step in learning the Cool Flower concept. And so it's for gardeners and for flower farmers, and I would love to sign one for you. So the tip of the day is the tip that I fight, you know, but we fight it less when we really embrace what the Cut Flower Handbook message is, which is embracing warm and cool season and how and when you plant them all. The resist is the urge to plant too early for your area. And my motto or my solution to that is there's frequently something always to get planted, but we often choose the wrong things. And it's usually based on like northern growers that see people in other areas, like somebody in Montana following somebody in Georgia, and ends up starting their seeds too soon.
Did y'all lose stuff?
Nope, it's still ticking.
Keep talking.
Okay, so we're having a little technical issue, but I'm going to keep right on. There we are. Hey, friends, we're back. That was crazy. So somebody up north following somebody that's gardening in the deep south and trying to follow along with what they're doing. Friends, that does not work. No matter where you are, your planting dates are always going to be based from your frost dates and counting backwards from those. And if you don't know your frost dates, you can simply put your zip code in a search engine and say, last spring frost, and those dates will come up. So I think when I come back here to sow, should I sow? I'll show these now. I guess I'll just make the blocks. All right, y'all, sorry. We're just I'm brainstorming here. So I'm gonna now demonstrate soil blocking with the 3/4 inch block and talk a little bit about some of the common issues when I come back. Oh, we're gonna come closer. Okay. All right, so this is in fact, you know, I haven't really mentioned it, but for soil blocking, because you put so much water in the soil mix, which is included with all the instructions, how much water to how much soil, you always do it in some kind of tub that has sides on it, right? Now, this is the blocking mix that we actually made on this show last week. You can always go back and watch the replay. And I've added the water, and this DIY mix was made from cocoa fiber and compost and our nutrient mix. And I'm really loving the texture of it this week after it's sat overnight, right? So this is the small blocker. This is the one that I use 99% of the time. And I am just gonna push it down into the block, into the mix to fill the chambers to make the blocks. And this mix is borderline too dry, and let's see how they come out. Whenever you have trouble getting the blocks to come out of the tool, it usually is rooted in the fact that it's too dry, that just can't come out. So I am literally just sliding my hand under. I have a tray with no drainage holes, and it's flat on the bottom, so it doesn't hold water anywhere. The blocks have direct access to all the water, and I am just going to give it a push and a pull. And you want to move this back? So I'll show you as a result. Let's see how you can see it. These blocks aren't as clean on the edges as I like, and that is 100% because it's too dry, as it should not be up. So you're gonna hold this while I sow the seeds, maybe?
Sure.
So I am now gonna sow seeds, and we have chosen to sow Scabiosa, which actually, the reason we chose that is that scabby or pincushion flower, maybe I'll just show you this, comes prepared two different ways. This with the little teeny seeds that they look just like a bat. Look at that, it's hanging onto my finger. It looks just like the birdie when you're playing badminton, right? And then we also have them where they have been freed of that skin, and they're just little tiny seeds. Both of them are correct, y'all. And we sow both of these into the small block.
Put your hand behind it. Hold the seed, but you can hardly see it.
Okay, so let's do.
Same color though. Do we need to focus a little better up there?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, let's put this behind it.
Put that behind it, yeah.
So can y'all see that? So my toothpick is stuck on it. That's the one that looks a little bit like that birdie for badminton. It looks like an upside down umbrella is what it looks like. So where are the seed packets for that? Does it get covered or not? So how many years have I been starting Scabby? I always have to read the instructions. Our seed packet says lightly cover seed with soil. So with soil blocking, what that means is you just push it a little bit further down into the block. And when we plant this little badminton
I
one,
need to move this down so you can see, Arna. There we go.
so I literally just drop one on the surface, and I'm just gonna do 4 of each. And then we're gonna push them in. But it's easier to get them on the block by just dropping them on and not using your toothpick because they're a little big. And then literally, I just take my toothpick and push it down into the block, and it just kind of disappears. I'm gonna do the same thing here. And, you know, some people, that one didn't want to let go. Because these blocks, remember I said I thought it was a little too dry? Because it is a little too dry, the blocks will also tend to crumble a little bit more when you're doing this process. And, you know, you could plant these in a larger block for the ones that are like a badminton, but you don't have to. I mean, this is the way that we start them. Now, for the small seed, you know, we always use saliva. It is stickier. Don't know if you can see that. See right on the end of my toothpick? There's a little seed. When there's no static electricity in your pan, because we're using the aluminum seed pan, literally the seed hops right on. And I, again, am just pushing it a little bit deeper into the block than let's just say if I was sowing snaps, they like to be really on the surface and get maximum light and oxygen. I wouldn't be pushing so deep. And I'm just pushing it down into the block. And, you know, people are always so surprised when they hear you only put 1 seed per block. We get such a high rate of germination, which I'm going to show you some seedlings here in just a second. You just push it down in there. That's it. Keep your fingers off the blocks. When the blocks are like this, sister, can you tilt it? When the blocks are with the seed that's just been sowed in them, the structure of the block is really easily compromised. So you don't ever pick up a block at this stage with your fingers. I recommend using the little wooden plant ID markers or a popsicle stick so that you're not mashing it and messing with the integrity of the block.
Misty wants to know, what does it mean when your blocks are falling out of your soil blocker while you're trying to make them?
Okay, so that's a great question. Misty asked, what happens if the soil mix falls out of the blocker while you're making them? That's too wet. Done that too. I totally understand that. That's why, y'all, I love measuring. We start with about 21 cups of mix, usually each time. That's kind of what this is back here. This is 20 to 21 cups with that recipe that I made last week. And then I know that I need to add approximately 7 cups of water. And that's kind of my jumping off point. Measuring it keeps you from a little more of this, a little bit more of that, a little bit more, wasting time. And then you might not ever get it right. So I recommend Misty measuring, and that was just too wet. So let's look at, first off, I have to show you all this. I have a little bouquet. This has been on my table now for 4 days. Remember this from last week or the week before? That is the feverfew that was a demo tray that has continued. This is 4 months old, y'all. It's been growing in my grow room. It is growing in the 3/4 inch blocks. And the point of all this is to show you what an incredibly healthy environment growing in a soil block is. So I'm going to cut the rest of these today and add them to my bouquet. So this is the 3/4 inch block in that wonderful green tray. You'll find those over on our big website if you need them. Now, I just want to show you some of the seedlings. This is some stock that we've started. This is a cool flower. This is the perfect time to start it for many of us. And this is 60 of those blocks on this large tray, we call it. And they were sown on January 13th. What is today? So these are like 12 days old or so. And so they'll be perfect. We try to plant these like the week of Valentine's. That's our cool flower next very early spring planting time. And I have to show y'all two things. First off, do not do what I'm doing right now. These are tomato transplants. It is too early for people in my area to start tomatoes, but I have to have tomato transplants to show for demonstration, right? But I just wanted to show tomatoes are a perfect example of why I use this small 5x5 tray, because I don't need, this is 20 tomatoes actually, and we've had, it looks like 95% germination. So these guys are going to grow in this block for about another week, and then I'm going to bump them up to the 2-inch blockers so that we can let the imposters that we've been looking at each week, which are these snapdragons that I would never pot up, right? But these guys have been doing the job of what we do with tomatoes. Look at these roots, y'all. This grows an amazing tomato, pepper, eggplant, those plants that are long haul plants out in the garden that it's just really great to have a little bit larger transplant to plant out in the garden. All right, so those are our seedlings. Suzanne's taking all the babies back to where they go. And I did just want to show y'all this. Look how these snaps are sending up, branching here right in the tray. Soil blocking is such, I mean, look at the roots. Y'all, I could look at roots all day long. If these snaps had been in any kind of container, a plug tray, a peat pot, any of that stuff, they'd be totally wound and wound and wound. And that is the secret as why soil blocked transplants, when you plant them, their roots just hit the ground running instead of having to recover from you pulling the roots all apart from a container, which is what you should do, but it shocks the plant. So soil blocked plants do not suffer from transplant shock. All right, so the deal of the day this week is that #1 customer product is the Soil Block Maker Kit. And it is 20% off, y'all. And it's already a reduced price because it's a kit. And let me just show you what's in here. So this kit comes with that small blocker you just saw me using, which is the one I use most of the time. It also comes with your choice of either 3 warm season seeds or 3 cool season seeds. You select which one you want when you're checking out. It also includes my course, Seed Starting Made Easy, y'all. I take you from beginning to end, the whole process, as well as direct seeding out in the garden, planting in plug trays, and the commercial soil blocker, the Swift blocker. So that comes with it. It comes with 5 of those large trays, which hold 60 of those small blocks. There's your seed pan, the toothpicks with the toothpick holder, and these are those they're plant markers, but I use them to handle my soil blocks, right? And it also comes with a bag of the ready-made mix. This bag makes about 600 of those small blocks, y'all. So it goes a really long way. So you get everything for, normally the kit cost $89.95. It's 20% off today. You're saving 18 bucks. It's $71.96. Friends, you are set up to soil block forever. All you add is seeds and soil each year. So that is the Soil Block Maker, which is our customer favorite, and we totally get it. Now, you know how I told you that the soil that I was working with today is that soil that I made last week, and it's this kit that I use to actually do this with. This is called the Make Your Own Blocking Mix Kit. It is $58.95, and that's a savings of about $5. And it includes the DIY nutrient. It includes a bag of the compost that goes in the recipe. It also includes the cocoa fiber brick, which you use in place of peat moss. And that's what happens to that. This is how it is today. You add water, it swells up, and then it becomes this amazing organic matter base to your mix. And then this, my friends, is the secret weapon. This is our sifter sieve. It fits perfectly on top of a 5-gallon bucket. Makes it easy to do, not messy. We sift everything. We sift cocoa fiber, peat moss, compost, and we even sift our ready-made mix. It all has chunks in it. And if you think about those tiny little blocks, and even the 2-inch block, it doesn't, you don't want big chunks in there, right? So this is the sieve, the cocoa fiber brick. Let's see if I can put this all back together. The cocoa fiber brick, that's what happens to it. Then we have the DIY nutrient mix, and this will make 6 recipes. It's enough for 6 recipes. And then we have now the compost. You get everything for $58.95, and you're set. You get this set and the Soil Block Maker kit, y'all. In addition to the Soil Block Maker kit being discounted, the Make Your Own kit is discounted, right? It's $5 off. Plus, you only pay 1 shipping charge. You're set and ready to roll. Now, you can also purchase things separately. You can purchase the sieve for $24.95. If you don't need the other ingredients, this will change your life, y'all. It changed our life here on the farm. Even when we're making volume, it is just so much easier to stand upright with a bucket with that on top and just go to town. All right, so now, I've talked about how I use that small blocker almost exclusively. However, when you need a bigger block, you need it for things like sweet peas, sunflower seeds, squash seeds, any seed that is just so big that when you push it into the small block, it just explodes it, right? That's when we use the 2-inch blocker. It makes 4 2-inch blocks, and it comes with this little nipple that you pop in, and that creates an indentation on the top of the block to receive a seed. And we use this, I use it for sweet peas, I mentioned that, and just any large seed, like a squash. We do transplants at 2 weeks, and they are the most beautiful squash plants. Now, the other time that I use the 2-inch blocker is when I want to bump up, like, we talked about. I only really do that for eucalyptus, tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant. And the rest of them we do in the small block. They grow in the small block, and they get planted out. Well, when you do want to bump, and you people that live up north that have a much shorter growing season than we do, you might be bumping up more stuff than we do down here in the south. This is really a great fit for that. These little inserts, you pull out the white ones that come with it, and you can purchase these inserts for $9.95, and this makes a perfect hole. I don't know if you can see. Can you see, like, there's the small block. You can see kind of the frame around it there that just literally popped right into that hole. Y'all, if you haven't ever grown a tomato transplant in a 2-inch block, you haven't lived yet in gardening. It is the most amazing, gorgeous roots you've never, ever met before. So the inserts are $9.95, and you can buy those separately and get them for your 2-inch blocker. Now, I've spoken about the flat bottom trays. These are our reusable foam trays. Y'all, these foam trays are not disposable. We use them for years. And I like flat bottom so water doesn't get trapped to create issues. And so this is the mini, which is the 5 1/4-inch square. It holds that cluster of 20. It's $1.95 for 5 or $6.95 for a 25 pack. This is what we call our small blocker tray. It holds 2 clusters of 20 or 2 clusters. That's what this is. So it holds, this is just a great testimony of why you always use the small blocker when you can. This tray either holds 8 plants or 40 plants of the small one. And there's my story, y'all. When you have small space like I do, that was just key. This small is a 5-pack. Is $2.95 for a 5-pack or $12.95 for a 25-pack. Then this is the large tray, which holds the 3 sets of 20, which is $3.95 for a 5-pack or $15.95 for a 25-pack. And again, we use them over and over. We just wash them up like we do all of our plastic trays. Now, this is how we identify all of our trays. This is an outdoor garden marker. This marker was made to withstand UV rays, moisture, and just basic living outside, right? And so this is $6.95, and you can never have enough of these. If you have a gardener in your life that starts seeds or likes to mark their plants, they will love you for getting this garden marker. And here's a great example. This is the wooden marker that was on my sweet peas 2 years ago, and you can still read. It was outside for about 1.5 years. You can still clearly read the type, Royal Mix. I mean, this marker really works, and it's $6.95, and it's just one of those great things you just don't ever want to be without. Now, a really important part of soil block or seed starting of any type is to warm the soil up so that the seeds will sprout quickly, uniformly, so they can move on to the grow light. And the root of that success is a seedling heat mat. This heat mat has a built-in thermostat that regulates based on the air temperature, like 4 of these trays. So if you had 4 of the large trays, 240 of those small blocks will fit on here at one time. This is one stop in the system, right? This is $39.95, and it will change the way that your seeds sprout, because warm soil is really the secret to all of that. Now, we love using the wide weave burlap to lay on our soil blocks. You know, we sow the seeds in the blocks, and then we lay this on top of the blocks on the seedling heat mat. Many of the seeds I sow are on the surface, and they really need to be kept moist, and this helps to trap moisture. However, it allows air circulation. So we love using the wide burlap. And so that is a 1 piece, which is 3 foot square for $3.95, or you can get 3 of these for $9.95. And when I go out to water the next morning, I just pull the burlap back, take care of my babies, and then lay it back down. And at the first sign of seedlings starting to crack, we take the burlap off, because they will quickly pop right through this burlap, and then the next day you pull it off, you'll rip your seedlings out. So you have to keep a really close eye on that. Now, if you've ever started seeds indoors, or if you have a lot of house plants, you may be familiar with fungus gnats. Those are those little pesky, annoying gnats that fly around. And the secret to fungus gnat control is prevention. And so we sell a kit, and they're both available individually here in the app. So this is the mosquito bits, which has the BT product. It's, you put it a tablespoon into your gallon of your watering can. Literally, when I finish watering on Tuesday mornings and I refill my water containers so it can sit overnight, that's when I put my bits in, and then they sit overnight, and I water my trays the next morning with the bit water, and that applies the larva, or that applies the BT that eliminates any larva that is in my blocks developing for fungus gnats. The yellow sticky traps are what capture the adults. And when you use both of these together, you just won't have a fungus gnat problem. If you get an outbreak of fungus gnats, it is so torturous, y'all. But you just have to be vigilant and get control, and these 2 items will do it. So this is $19.95, and again, you can purchase those separately here in the app. And we get so many questions about fertilization and how do we grow such beautiful babies. The Neptune seaweed fish, it's stinky, but it's worth the stink, y'all. I put this in my watering can every Monday. It's 1 tablespoon to a gallon of water. And I water everything that's off the heat mat. Stuff on the heat mat doesn't need this, but everything else does. And the instructions are for the house plants are right on the bottle. It's $18.95, and I have used this for decades and totally love it.
Soil has been added to common soil. We were out of soil, but it's been added.
Oh, soil is back in stock here in the shop. If you went to put it in your cart and it was out, It's now been put back in. That's why it's so great to get notified, y'all. When those things happen, you don't miss it. So this is my favorite new product that we're offering you guys. Not new product to us as much as it is offering it. This is the compost tea bags. There are 12 of these tea bags, high quality compost, that literally, again, I fill my watering can up today, drop this in after I'm done, and let it steep overnight. And tomorrow when I water, it just adds microbes. It just makes your soil healthier. This does not replace my fertilizer. So if I feed on Mondays, then I will often do compost tea at the end of the week. And it's 1 tea bag per gallon of water. And it has instructions how if you want to ramp up your game by aerating. And this is just a great product. And then after you've used this tea bag, it's great to go into your container, your soil mix that you have or out in your garden. But love that we can add biology to our blocks in the process, right? And so this is my sister. Why don't you come tell them about you? This is my sis's favorite little vase.
So this is our cute little espresso watering can. It holds about 2 cups of water, and it is great for watering your soil blocks because it gives you a really gentle stream. It's great for house plants, or you can even add water to your arrangements without getting under the sink. You know, it's hard to get an arrangement off and into your sink. So this is perfect, but what I love it for is to put a little flower arrangement in. Little flowers in here are just beautiful. And this is so pretty. If you're using it to water your house plants, you can just sit it on the shelf next to your plants. And it's beautiful for everyone to see. It's stainless steel, and it's $31.95, and we just love it. Okay, next we have our cushy kneeler. And this is, I'm the perfect person to be showing you about this because I have a bad knee now, so I really use mine more than I used to. Anything you have to get down on the floor for, look how thick it is. It is thicker and softer, and it's really big. I've not seen one this big or thick before. It measures 15 by 20. It's 2 inches thick. It's only about 20 ounces, so it's lightweight to carry around. It's got this easy handle on it. It's made in the USA, and anyone you know that has a knee problem or anyone over the age of 50 needs to have one of these. $42.95, and it really does work great when you have a sore knee going on. So next we have our favorite gloves. These are our nitrile gloves. Everybody on the farm wears them. I wear them to work in my yard. We have quilters that use these. Cousins milk cows in these. They are nitrile and they fit like a glove. I have a large hand for a woman, so I can't wear like a large woman's glove off the shelf. I have to get extra large. But this is a medium because these are unisex size. And it's just lightweight and breathable. You just throw them in the washing machine, hang them up to dry, or I just wash mine while they're still on my hands after I use them and then hang them up to dry. One pair is $7.95, or you can get a 4-pack, and the 4-pack is $24.95, and we would not be in the garden without them. They come from size extra small all the way up to large. Now we have the nitrile tough glove. And this is also sized the same way. I wear an extra large woman's glove, and this is actually a medium. This has the double coating of the nitrile, so there's no latex in it. And the black is just a little heavier. We wear this when it's a little bit cooler outside, or if we need to do something heavy like moving concrete or wood. Mechanics wear these, golfers wear these, and again, they're $7.95 for 1 pair, or you can get a 4-pack for $24.95. Next up, we have our gauntlet. This is our gauntlet glove, or it used to be called the rose glove. And again, they're unisex sizing. This is a medium, and this is all man-made material, so you can put this in the washing machine. If you get poison ivy on it, it'll just wash right off and hang them to dry. This is great for any critter you have in the garden, whether that be a bramble, a rose, a bird, a wild animal, because we have rescued a few and we've worn these gloves. And the gauntlets are $39.95, and they come from small to extra large. And then Lisa's going to tell you about one of her favorite products.
Well, sister, wait. So you hold this up.
Okay.
So we're getting ready for the season, y'all, where slugs are going to be back on the scene. And this is our Slug X. And so I don't know if y'all knew that slugs love beer. They actually love the yeast in beer. We actually have slugs in our slug eggs. How cute are these? Susie actually has made, she does ceramics, and she made these little slugs. Those are so, I want to put those in my shelf in my house. People think I have weird things. I have rocks on my shelf in the house. I ought to add those to it. So anyway, what we have learned from, a university where all those college kids are, is that in fact, slugs prefer, guess what? Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. And why is that? It's because it's yeastier is what I understand. So neither Suzanne or I drink, but we're going to pop the top anyway. And so you get yourself some beer and you fill the wells up in here.
The slug bar, as I like to call it.
The slug bar, that's right. Tipping is allowed. And so we fill that up. Does smell kind of good though, doesn't it?
No.
So the top, the reason this top is so great is because if you just put an open saucer out in your garden, the first time it rains, it's just going to wash it away. You have to see what's in it. And if you have a golden retriever like we do, they love pickled slugs.
And so do raccoons and
So
possums.
we put the top on, and then I literally put a cinder block on top of this to keep Tucker from getting in it. But that protects you, so you don't have to fill it quite so much. Then, a couple times a week, I pick it up, carry it over to wherever I'm going to rinse it out, take the top off, and rinse the slugs out. The slugs enter from these little side doors. They smell the yeastiness and go in for a kind of checkout, and they fall in and unfortunately drown.
They go for a swim without a lifeguard.
Exactly. And then they're goners. Then we just dispose of them and fill it back up. And friends, if you think rabbits are prolific, they have nothing on slugs. You cannot believe how many thousands of slugs. And if I understand right, they don't even have to mate to reproduce. I mean, is that not scary? So the Slug X is a product. We love it when we can get it. Get one for yourself, and we'll go from there. And look at these precious little slugs. All right, so where are we here? The beer's in front of me, and I'm not drinking it. Oh, here we go. Row cover. We are living with row cover right now. All right, what should I use row cover for, and what should I use insect netting for? Are they the same? What a great question. So row cover traps warmth, insect netting not so much. That's why we love using insect netting typically in the summer months when I'm using it for shading, and then also the months that pests are actually active. Row cover is used to trap, to have, the way they describe it on where we buy it from is it has thermal mass trap. It traps thermal mass. Which is not what we want in summer, but that's definitely what we want in winter. So the row cover that I use it for is to create a low tunnel using our wire hoops, which you can find over on our website, to actually just protect our plants from cold winter wind. While many, the cool flowers that we grow are winter hardy, but they are not up to a lashing all winter long by cold whipping winds. We use lightweight row cover on the hoops to block that, as well as to block varmints. It does have a value of 4 degrees, so that means if it's going down to 28, if you have row cover on it, technically it should be only 32 underneath that row cover. So that's how we use row cover. It is reusable, but it's not stretchy like the insect netting is. Those metal hoops are available over on our website, and the row cover comes in 3 different lengths here inside the app. 20 foot for $12.95. This is a 50 footer for $26.95, and 100 foot for $42.95. And I hear a lot of talk about how lightweight and fragile this is. Y'all, you just have to learn how to handle row cover. I mean, I've got a lot of experience using them. And yes, it is possible to rip it, but I don't rip them. It's about the way people handle them, the way they apply them, the way they drag them, the way they do things, because I find great benefit to the lightweight covers. There's more uses. If you need a heavier cover, we just double it, right? It gives you more options. I am all about multi-using instead of buying a heavier one that you can't use or you can only use during cold weather, right? And if you need even longer pieces, they're available over on our big website. Now, here's that insect netting that we were just talking about. And I want to just mention this here because we have a lot of people facing this right now. You don't wait to order your products like row cover and hoops when cold weather is already here. First off, this is the busiest time of the year for shipping, and with the weather events that are happening, stuff really gets delayed. So you definitely need to think bikinis. Think when they're making those bikinis that we're already seeing in the store. You have to get ahead like that on buying your products so you don't put yourself into an emergency. Now, this is the insect netting. And while it may look similar, well, you can actually see through it a whole lot more, right, than you could with that row cover. I love this stuff, y'all. It protects plants. What it's made for is to be applied like a row cover all the way down to the ground, to block access from flying pests, like for instance the moth that lays its eggs on like broccoli and sunflowers, and then that little caterpillar's born and eats your stuff. I also, and you can see a video of this on the product, I love using this as a sun cap in the dead of winter when it is super hot and we're planting and we're worried our plants are going to burn up.
Summer.
Did I say winter?
Yes.
Sorry, winter, not winter, summer. So it's lightweight, stretchy, and definitely reusable. We secure it with the same weight bags we use our row cover, and also with these big jumbo clips, which I show you in the video. You can find those locally. It's available in 3 lengths. It's all 6.5 feet wide. A 20-foot is $33.95. A 50-foot is $82.95, and a 100-foot is $159.95. And I will tell you something, friends. Yeah, you'll see cheaper ones out there. They do not hold up. We have firsthand experience with that. This is really durable product, and if you take care of it, you'll use it for many, many seasons, and you will not be sorry. Now, we use the weight bags that you fill with either gravel, sand, or soil, whatever it is that you have available. We try to get our bags to weigh about 15 pounds. We fill one up to what we think, and then I take it in and weigh it, and that gives us a model. It has a string that you can wrap around the top to tie it closed. You can get 10 bags for $10.95. You can get a 25 pack for $24.95 or a 50 bag pack for $39.95. And these are one of the things you'll never have enough of. I mean, I have hundreds, and we still always run out. I use them on silage tarps. I use them on everything. Now, this is the one that you need to get before you actually need it and to stock up, and that is our biodegradable film. Suzanne's looking for a sample. So the biodegradable film looks and works just like plastic, but it's biodegradable. It's made out of a corn byproduct, and it's totally compostable. And here it is. So it comes with a light side and a dark side. You put it down with the appropriate side up according to your temperatures. If it's going to be above 80 degrees when you're actually planting that bed, we always make the bed with the light side up so we cool the transplants that are being planted. But this time, fall, winter, and very early spring, and maybe even spring beds are made with the black side up to benefit the soil by warming them up a little bit. This is super easy to plant through. Literally, you don't have to burn holes. You can see all the holes that I have punched in here. So this comes several different ways. It's all 48 inches wide. That would be for a 36-inch wide bed or narrower. A 1-pack of 50-footers is $24.95. A 6-pack of 50-footers is $119.95. We also now offer it in 100-foot pieces, And a 1-pack is $39.95 and a 3-pack is $110.95. And here's the big benefit to doing this. You prepare your bed, get it all worked up. You can immediately apply this mulch film, and that blocks all light from getting to the surface of your bed, which is what germinates weed seeds. That means that you can plant at your convenience. And this is what helped me just grow my farm so fast. The use of a tractor and a combination of this just allowed us to, because we could make beds and let them sit unplanted and not worry about weeds growing, right? So love this stuff. Now, sister, do you want to talk about Suzanne loves talking about this tick key because we love using it.
This tick key is perfect for any wiggling animal, child, or husband, and it really helps remove the ticks. You simply slide it over the tick. I don't know if you can see. I can't see what I'm doing. And you pull it, and it just lifts him out, head and all. We've had nurses tell us that they keep these at the schools to use them to get ticks off kids, and everybody should have one. It's got a little hole in the top so you can actually put it on your key ring. That's why it's called a key. And I have one in every drawer in the house. I'm really bad about keeping track, so I have them lots of places, including on my keychain in my purse. So the tick key is $9.95. Comes in assorted colors, so there's no telling what color you might get. It'll be a surprise. So $9.95. Get one for you and for everyone in your family. We all need them.
We have, we're in tick country. My husband had Lyme's disease. It is nothing to mess around with.
So next up is probably the funnest product that we sell. This is our weather stick. Now this is made out of balsam wood, like a divining rod, and it comes with a little hole. Ooh, this one seems to not be happy. I thought it was upside down. It thinks it's going to be bad weather outside. It's got a little hole in there, and you just attach that to a post somewhere outside that you can view it from the side. And when the weather's going to be bad, it bends down, and when the weather's going to be good, it bends up. I've seen mine touch the post it's attached to when it was really bad outside. It is just so much fun and amazing to watch. People are sure it won't work, and then once they get one, they want one for everybody they know. You want to get one for everyone they know. It's $10.95, and it has all kinds of cute little tips and testimonies on the little container here.
I think they put the hole on the wrong side on that one is what the deal is. I do.
They must.
Yep, that's why it's here.
Okay, so next up, Lisa's going to tell you about a Valentine's Day special we have.
So, friends, I think the greatest show of love is introducing people to gardening. And so that's what I feel like my book, the Cut Flower Handbook, is really good at. I mean, it draws people in, beautiful images. Everybody wants to grow flowers. So we are offering the set, which is my book, Cut Flower Handbook, and I am definitely in the notes when you're checking out. If you want to put a personalized message to somebody, I am happy to do that. You get the Cut Flower Handbook. You get the #1 selling seed collection, which is called Cut Flower Garden Seed Collection. These are the ones that we're still growing, and they'll get access to the PDF download. And friends, we're going to wrap it for you. This is how it's going to come. And we have a little name tag on here, and we'll even ship it straight. You can put, your name and ship to. You'd have to order it separately to do that, but we'll ship it straight to your sweetheart. But if you're going to have it shipped to you, friends, get a red marker or a pink marker and write a message or draw some hearts or just do something really, really fun. So from here until we say not, if you order the book set, it's coming like this. There is no you won't see that it says this. But this is going to get you a sweetheart gift that they are going to thank you for probably for the rest of their life. And so the seed collection is in here. The bookmark is in here with the QR code. And you will be ready to roll for Valentine's Day. All right, y'all. It's last call for the giveaway. Hit the button to be included on the list. To be included in the giveaway, and I can't wait to give that away. And in case you've joined late, if you have a question you'd like to have me try to answer at the end of the show, enter it in at Lisa in the comments, and then type your question, and the team will pick up a couple of those, and then I'll try to answer them for you. So we're always trying to help people understand that if you store seeds properly, they really last years most often. These are desiccants. These absorb moisture. If you keep your seeds cool and dry, they will last a really long time, because I recommend that you purchase seeds when you meet the flower. When you see something that's like, oh, I really need to grow that, you need to purchase it because you'll never remember it again, and then put it in your seed storage where the proper season. If it's a cool flower, when you start cool flowers. If it's warm, when you start summer stuff, right? So you can get a 2-pack for $2.95 or a 10-pack for $9.95. And this is what we keep with our seeds to just prevent any moisture. Now, we're gonna do a little blooming lightning round with a few flowers here, kind of related to what we've already talked about. First off, look at this. This is ping pong. This is a Scabiosa, and Lane and I talked about this flower on Seed Talk, which this is literally the color of the year, mocha mousse, right, sister? And look at these really cool seed pods. I mean, they're awesome, and now's the time to start them. So this is pincushion ping pong, and this is what it looks like fresh. I mean, it's cool fresh, but it's even cool when it's actually dried. And then we have, the next one up is Fire King. This fire engine red is one of my favorite colors in spring. You know, it's one of those colors, you don't want 2 tons of it in the spring because red's not a hot color, but it makes everything else pop in a bouquet. Love the Fire King. It is really great. And I grow all the colors I'm getting ready to show you, y'all. So this is perhaps the most useful color. This is the blue cockadee, and it's that pale lavender blue kind of color. And this is what it looks like dried. Look how blue that is, y'all. I mean, it dries bluer than it is fresh. And this bunch got laid down. You can see why they're a little droopy. We're gonna dry that this year with it really, if these were all facing upward, this would be a blue flower to be reckoned with, right? And then I really love this. I really love them all, y'all. But this is another one. The blue one, I'd grow as much as I could. This one, I just want a few. I love cutting them when they're like this as a little button before all this happens to add to bouquets. People just don't even know what they are. And let's see, up here it is dry. So it holds its color dry and could be really useful for any of those things that you may be doing with dried flowers. And then, you know, who has ever had enough white flowers in spring? Nobody ever in the flower farming world. And love it green right up through full bloom. And that's, you can see here, I love it when it's green in the center. Really love that. But look how it dries. That's cool color, y'all. This is like the end color. My whole life is this color, right? I mean, look at the cabinets behind me. It's neutral, so you can actually use hot colors and they aren't so overpowering. Really love that one. And then Fata Morgan, which I describe as buttercream. This color, this looks a little yellower than I think it really is in real life, but this is what she looks like dried. Another great color. You know, the flowers are dead, y'all, right, when they're dried. So this would be another great candidate for a wreath. So friends, it's kind of time to wrap up. So let's start up that segment of the show. And remember to stick around to the very end if you want the Q&A. I'll be doing that. And I just want to remind everybody to head over to our website, thegardenersworkshop.com. And Kelly just let me know that now there is a banner at the top of every page about joining the Flower Farmer Club, which, you know, the doors will be shutting for that a week from today. So you can go over there. There's a monthly option and buy it by the year, pay a year for a year. And when you do a year, you get 2 months free.
And Barbara just commented that her daughter-in-law is a hairstylist, and she has a tick key at the salon and in her purse because she finds ticks on clients.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, that's such a great point. I mean, we live in tick country, you know, and we're always picking them off of each other. And this just makes it so much simpler to actually do. All right, so remember to head over to the Gardener's Workshop, because not only are you going to learn everything you need to know about the Flower Farmer Club, there are tons of free resources. We have videos, my blog's over there. And, you know, I wrote a blog 3 weeks ago about the truth about success. I was in a deep mode, y'all. You need to go read that. As well as you can connect with both of our podcasts. We have Field and Garden, which I host, and then there's Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane. And yesterday's episode, I mean, she is so great about dropping these at the perfect time. Yesterday's episode was very early spring, cool flower planting, frequently asked questions. And you don't want to miss that. And you can listen to those on our website or on any podcast app that you get your podcast from. I will be hosting Ask a Flower Farmer this coming week. And that's over on Instagram at the Gardener's Workshop Farm at 12:30 Eastern Time. And I take some questions. I never get through all of them. That's Eastern Time. And I invite you to join me over there. And remember that meet me back next week, right here at the same time, the same place. Next week is easy flower arranging for Valentine's. So that means, sister, that you're going to be buying flowers on the way to work that day, and Suzanne's going to show us how to take those long stems that we're buying in the grocery store and how to revive them if need be, and then how to put them in a little arrangement that you're really happy with. All right, so we have a winner of the $25 giveaway. And I hope you're here. And I think I know that. I think I can say that last name because I think I went to school with somebody with that last name. So, winner, if you're here, Carla Battaglia. Did I kill that? Battaglia, I think. Battaglia. I went to school with somebody named Battaglia is the reason, only reason. So Carla, if you are here, congrats. You are the lucky winner of the $25 store credit. And as soon as you give us a shout out in the comments, the girls will drop a $25 credit right into your cart. That'll be there when you actually check out. So, you know, either stick around for the Q&A, or if you're heading out, thanks so much for joining us. It's been my pleasure to be here with you.
She's here.
Carla, you're here. Did I say your name even remotely right, Carla? So congratulations. I am so glad. All right. Here's a great question right out of the gate. When making the soil blocking mix recipe, so I want to just stop for a minute right here and say, when you buy the ready-made mix from us, all you add to that is water.
She said you pronounced it right.
Oh my goodness, there's a miracle happened today. I'm so glad. I don't like messing up people's names, so congratulations. When you buy the ready-made mix from us, the only thing you add to that is water. You sift it, and then you add water, right? We just often, people are confused by that, and since we're going to talk about the recipe right now, I thought I'd preface it with that. So the question is, when making the soil block mix recipe, which is what this is behind me here, do you measure the cocoa fiber dry or wet after sifting, of course? All the ingredients are measured dry, because the water is the last thing that you add. And I like to, I do the cocoa fiber or peat moss, whichever, animal you're using. We typically try to sift large volumes of ingredients this time of the year before we're really busy, and then fill up, whether it's a small kitchen trash can that has a top, or we would use a galvanized trash can. I think 2 50-pound bags of cover crop fit in. What our goal would always be when we were making all of our own soil was to fill up each one of those trash cans fully with sifted product. It makes making the mix so much easier. So measuring happens dry, and then once I put the dry ingredients in the tray, meaning the cocoa fiber and the compost that's been sifted, I then add the nutrient mix, appropriate amount, and then I mix them up before I wet them. I watched Elliot Coleman, I'm talking 4 decades ago probably, listening to him talk about when he was making his mix on PBS before we had Home Garden TV. And I can just remember him saying that the nutrient items really bind better It's the same reason we mix the baking soda in with the flour when we're making chocolate chip cookies, right? Before you put the dry stuff in, same thing. So hopefully that helps. How many slug boxes for what square footage are needed? Would one work for a 1/4 acre garden planting area? I don't think it would be that far. So I only use one in my, let's see, how big is that garden? I would say that's probably 25 by 25. 20 by 20 is 400 square feet. There's 40,000 square feet in an acre approximately. A 1/4 acre would be 100,000 square feet. I would say probably I would have two, like split it in half in your mind and put one in each half and see what happens. And of course, they're not everywhere. I find that my highest population of slugs happen in our shade garden where my Lenten roses are and my Virginia bluebells, which they really love to eat. So I would start with two. You definitely need more than one, I would think, and then play around with it. And of course, you'll have to wait till they get active, right? But early spring is when those boys start eating everything. Have you noticed soil blocking increases the germination rate? 100%. And it's more about that soil blocks, in my experience, are easier to manage and to give them the conditions that the seeds need to actually sprout. Meaning, for me, let's just say if my thumb is a little soil block, it's easier to keep that little block evenly moist and warm than it is, think about a plug tray. I mean, we experience this all the time. Sometimes Bobo will be in a hurry or she forgot something and she'll say, oh, I'm just gonna start it in a plug tray. And we'll sow whatever in a plug tray. And we just have crummy germination. And it's just keeping that long, skinny mass of soil evenly warm and moist. It's usually wet on the bottom or wet on the top, dry on the bottom. It's usually it's just hard to manage. But that's one of the things that drew me to soil blocking is I went from a dismal seed starter that had tried every seed starting kit on the planet, all the dome things. Literally, I want to become an illustrator one day, y'all. I just see this picture of me standing at the closet in my old house where you open it up and there's just stacks of these kits that I had bought and had dismal results with. And then I learned about soil blocking from Elliot Coleman, and it just led me down to where I am now. And so, yes, better germination. Do you put your soil blocks under the lights immediately after sowing the seeds if they require light for germination? No. So when they talk about seeds needing light to sprout, that's basically saying to you in a language that people can understand is that the seeds need to be on the surface of the blocks to not cover the seed with soil. And it's really more about that seed needs oxygen than it does light. And so when we say needs light to germinate, that just means put it on the surface and it needs to be in a room with regular ambient light. It does not need to be under a grow light because I tell you the problem with it. Some grow lights get warm into even hot, and to have them on a seedling heat mat on the bottom and put them under a hot light on top, you toast them. So no, they're either on the seedling heat mat or under grow lights, but that's what needs light. All right, so let's take one more. I struggled with stem length on my stock last year. Zone 8, Northeast Texas. Plant very early spring. Any tips to help with length? I think I answered this yesterday in the club, but I'll answer it again here for everybody because stock is one that I struggle with. First off, I love to gravitate towards the varieties to grow that are really tall. My tallest ever is the Cheerful series, which we have the white, I think, and maybe the yellow. The yellow is really ivory. It's not yellow. They're the tallest I've ever grown, naturally. And then the variety that we have now that it's called High Double. That variety, which I'm not sure if that's a variety or it's actually the color description, is another really tall one. So be sure you're not buying one that's on the low end of the spectrum in inches to grow, which it tells you on the seed packet, right? That's A. Secondly is getting them timed at the proper time. We get ours in the ground at that 8 weeks before our last spring frost, which for us is Valentine's Day. And that gives us pretty tall blooms by Mother's Day usually. Ours are all started in there and growing. And I've even been known to let them get a little stretched for the light. Nothing wrong with a little extra stem length, right? And when I'm harvesting, stock is a 1 bloom, 1 stem that doesn't branch. You're not going to get useful stems afterwards. I have been known to pull stock plants out by the roots so that I can trim the roots off if I need additional stem. But the big thing is great soil. We cover it immediately and we plant it in very early spring, that it gets adequate nutrition and water and good light, and covering them really helps them to grow more, elongate. But once it starts to get hot, they stop growing. So that's why it's so important to get them planted in a timely manner. All right, friends. I want to just also remind you again that the Flower Farmer Club banner is up over on the website, thegardenersworkshop.com. It'll be closed. Doors will be closed to new members a week from today, and it is a ton of fun, y'all. I drop a lot of great resources over there: master classes, live Q&As, a podcast, weekly sewing circle, and you can partake in all of it or not all of it. And it's just a great place for us to come together as flower farmers, where I can help support you and you can have some continuing education on your journey of growing flowers. So friends, until we meet